But we're going to call this Life Update an episode of The Jim Show. Shout out to all the fans who love it all over the city. But main thing that happened was I was meant to be arraigned for the various things I'm going to go on trial for. And the feds, the DPP, pulled basically one of my biggest charges. And so had to kick off the arraignment date again. It doesn't really affect me that much, to be honest. Your boy's still cased up to the waist bra. You know what it is. But what is interesting about it is I'm thinking back now, kind of almost a year to my arrest, and just the way the whole process worked. Like basically the police made a huge number of very serious allegations against me and my character, let's say. And all along, everyone's acted on their word, on the cops' word, that it's a very strong prosecution case. Is it though? If on the eve of the arraignment, you're dropping what I think was the most serious charge, federal charge. So it just makes me think, it's 1 down, 2 to go for those keeping score at home. But what is interesting is, especially when I first applied for bail after being arrested in my bedclothes and having my suit lost at the courthouse and my good church shoes seized for forensic testing. Don't know what that's about. Whether they've had a few Gene Kellys on the old B&Ns. Doesn't seem too likely to me. But anyway, I miss those shoes. But I also, missed the chance to contest my bail, and except as appearing in pajamas with a legal aid bloke. So as soon as I was able to get to the lawyer and contest it, I did. And it was a 2-day hearing, basically, or very short hearing split across 2 days. In the first one, the cops made a number of crazy allegations, basically without source, about me being a Looney Tune and a threat to the public safety. But we contested that and said that's rubbish, and prepared to let you go through my medical history, my medical records, prescriptions, hospital admissions. So the kind of stuff where if you are a fucking schizo or whatever, it would show up. And to play an open hand, I did cop to, we're all a bit bonkers these days, it's not just me, but I did cop to having a bit of CPTSD relating to some time that I spent in Samoa. Shout out to all my Usos. For a couple of years there in the middle of a big coup. All the Samoan lads know what I'm talking about, which is very stressful for me. I had a couple of heart problems. So I just take stuff, to slow down my heart, clonidine and some alpha blockers. Yeah, to stave off, nightmares over adrenaline, but nothing that makes you, I'm not schiz, homie, to put it as Beanie Siegel did, if I can put it succinctly. And anyway, so the judge had a look at these allegations and said, okay, who do I believe? So they did a review of those medical records, and it took her about 75 seconds to have a quick review of what the court-appointed forensic psychologist said about those records and go, okay, all bail conditions are lifted, which is essentially a big one of these to the police who had earlier come in heavy with this hugely strong case. But what I found amazing was when my case first hit the media, it was written up by this legend called, I think it's Albert McKnight. I'll put the story up on The Region, who just absolutely, I don't know what Freud would say about his need to come into swinging on behalf of authority figures and the cops. But, mate, get the most you can out of the Medicare rebate pal, okay? Because the way he done me was just completely dirty. He basically wrote up mental health suspected to be hugely part of this case, blah, blah, blah. And then he filmed me or shot me coming out of court doing the rosary. Now, if you're getting fitted up for a crime or going through a much lesser trial, all my Catholics and Orthodox know that you you might pray the rosary on the way into something like that. Doesn't make me particularly unusual. It's a ritual older than basically all Protestant churches. So, but the way he fit it all together, it was like, well, police claim mental health, risk to bail, and then here's a shot of him looking like either Don Corleone or that member of the New York crime boss who used to walk around in a dressing gown and pretend to be a schizophrenic and not understand anything for like 20 years while he was running New York streets. It was a cross between that guy and Don Corleone, but the implication was pretty heavy that I'm a bit of a nutter, as the cops alleged, because I believe in God. But what was really unfair about it is he wasn't there the next week when all those claims got dismissed in about 75 seconds following an independent expert review. So I asked Albie, I said, mate, I know a bit more about this game and this game of life than you ever will know. It was nice to start with because I wanted to do something for me, which is to correct the fact that all the police allegations didn't amount to a hill of beans, as Norm Macdonald might say, where it came down to the crunch. But he basically said, look, I never changed my stories. And so I picked out about 5 or 6 errors in the story, and then he made those changes. But that he basically, when it came down to it, he just didn't bother showing up to the second leg of my hearing where the judge actually ruled on all the claims. He just wrote up the first bit. And as I said in an email to his editor, imagine if I went to the next Australian Journalists Association meeting and put up a motion that you were a good little police dog like Rin Tin Tin who always does what he's told because he doesn't mind getting into the pig shit where none of the mainstream media outlets did. Okay? That's how it comes down to it. He just does what the police want him to. But imagine if I put that forward to the Australian Journalists Association and then only covered the fact that the idea was going to be debated and didn't do a follow-up that everyone voted against it. If they would indeed vote against it, I'd be, whatever the case, Albert, mate. The fact is he couldn't change it because he just wasn't there, because he was so keen to do the police bidding and because he believed the police case was so strong. I'll cover whether you're not guilty or not, Jim, he told me. Mate, you've just done me over and you've offended 1 billion Catholics at the same time in your injudicious portrayal of a man's personal faith. Now, I happen to know a few Orthodox lads who, like me, venerate and revere Our Lady, not just at times of stress, on the daily. And they were particularly outraged by this portrayal. So he's very lucky, Albert, that he's got a mild-mannered Catholic in me and not some of these boys, because while they are eminently reasonable, upstanding men, the sort of fellas you let date your sister, basically, they might be liable to fly off the fucking handle if someone was to imply that one of the oldest rituals in their religion, a prayer to one of the most revered figures in all heaven, is somehow a sign of mental illness. But it's lucky for you that they are not the sort of boys who would ever come through the ACT court system and be covered by you again, because you won't ever be making those mistakes again, will you, Albie? Maybe you'll even start to apply a bit of skepticism to what the police tell you.